Captain Zeth Chromac stared at the star charts floating in front of him. The blue hologram showed the restricted zone that every ship in the galaxy avoided. For 50 years, no one had been allowed to enter the Sol system. The Galactic Council had marked it as forbidden space after the humans went silent. "Captain, are you sure about this?" asked Vex Thurlan, his science officer. The tall alien's green skin looked pale under the bridge lights. "The penalties for entering restricted space are severe. They could strip us of our trading licenses." Zeth turned to look at his small crew. Besides Vex, there was only Nira Goldstar, his tactical officer. She sat at her station checking their weapon systems for the third time that day. Her red eyes showed excitement rather than fear. "The humans have been gone for 50 years, Zeth said. "Whatever plague or disaster hit them is long over. There might be valuable salvage in that system. Ancient technology, rare metals, maybe even intact ships." The Altarian captain had heard stories in the Outer Rim bars. Traders whispered about strange energy readings coming from the dead system. Some claimed their sensors picked up artificial signals when they passed nearby. Most dismissed these as equipment errors or wishful thinking. "The quarantine zone extends for 2 light years around their star," Vex said, pulling up the official boundaries. "Our stealth system should hide us from any automated warning beacons." Zeth nodded. His ship, the Starwind, was small but well-equipped for reconnaissance missions. They had military-grade stealth technology that could fool most sensor arrays. It was perfect for slipping into places they were not supposed to go. "Nira, what do our weapons look like?" he asked. "All systems ready, Captain," she replied. "Though I doubt we will need them. The humans barely had spaceflight when they went silent. Their most advanced ships could not even leave their home system. That was what made this mission seem safe. The humans had been a young species, just learning to travel between planets when disaster struck. The Galactic Council records showed they had primitive fusion drives and basic laser weapons. Nothing that could threaten a modern ship. "Set course for the Sol system," Zeth ordered. "Engage stealth systems as soon as we cross the boundary." The Starwind's engines hummed to life. Space folded around them as they entered faster-than-light travel. The journey would take 6 hours. Zeth used the time to review everything known about humans. They had been discovered by a Galactic Council survey team 60 years ago. The species looked similar to several other races, with pale skin and hair covering their heads. They lived on a blue planet covered mostly with water. Early contact reports described them as aggressive but intelligent. The Council had been preparing for formal first contact when all signals from the human system stopped. Ships sent to investigate found nothing but empty space where their colonies should have been. No debris, no distress signals, nothing. The area was immediately quarantined to prevent whatever killed the humans from spreading. "Dropping out of faster-than-light travel in 30 seconds, Vex announced. Zeth felt his hearts beat faster. In moments, they would be the first people to see the Sol system in 50 years. He imagined dead planets orbiting a lonely star, maybe some floating wreckage from the human civilization. "Stealth systems active," Nira reported. "We should be invisible to any sensors." The Starwind emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. Immediately, every alarm on the bridge started screaming. "What is that?" Vex shouted over the noise. The main screen showed something impossible. Jupiter, the large gas planet in the outer system, was surrounded by massive structures. Thousands of ships moved between them in perfect formation. The planet itself glowed with artificial lights. "Those are mining platforms," Nira said, her voice barely a whisper. "Each one is larger than our biggest space stations." Zeth stared in shock. The structures around Jupiter were enormous, easily the size of small moons. Streams of processed materials flowed between them and fleets of cargo ships. It was industrial activity on a scale he had never seen. "Captain, look at this," Vex called out. His instruments were going crazy. "Mars is showing massive energy signatures. There are cities on the surface. I can see them from here." The red planet that should have been empty desert was covered with lights. Massive domed cities stretched across continents. Ships moved in and out of orbital stations in constant traffic. "This is impossible," Zeth said. The humans were supposed to be extinct. Sir, I am picking up similar activity around every planet in the system, Vex reported. Even the small rocky worlds have stations and ships. This entire system is inhabited. Nira checked her tactical display. Captain, I am counting over 10,000 ships of various sizes. Some of them are massive, much larger than any council. Vessel. Zeth's mind raced. The humans had not only survived, they had built a civilization that dwarfed anything in known space. The mining operation around Jupiter alone could supply the entire Galactic Council for centuries. We need to get closer, he decided. Stay in stealth mode. We need to document this. The star wind moved deeper into the system. Every few minutes brought new revelations. Asteroid belts had been completely mined out and replaced with artificial habitats. Space elevators connected planets to orbital rings. Ships moved with precision that suggested advanced computer control. Captain, Vex said nervously, I am detecting scanning beams. Very sophisticated ones. They are probing our stealth field. Can they penetrate it? Zeth asked. I do not think so. Our technology is much more advanced than anything the humans had 50 years ago. Suddenly, every system on the bridge went dark. The stealth field collapsed, their engines stopped working. Emergency lighting cast red shadows across the control panels. What happened? Zeth demanded. Before anyone could answer, a voice filled the bridge. It spoke in perfect galactic standard with a calm and confident tone. Unknown vessel, you have entered restricted space. Please state your intentions. Zeth felt his blood turn cold. The voice was human. They had been detected, and somehow their ship had been completely disabled without any visible attack. Captain, Nira whispered, I am reading multiple ships approaching our position. They were not there a moment ago. On the main screen, sleek vessels appeared as if materializing from empty space. They moved with impossible grace, surrounding the star wind in perfect formation. Each ship was beautiful and deadly, with lines that suggested both art and engineering far beyond anything Zeth had ever seen. This is Captain Zeth Cromack of the trading vessel Starwind, he said, trying to keep his voice steady. We are conducting a salvage survey of this system. Captain Cromack, the human voice replied. There is nothing to salvage here. This system is very much alive. You will be escorted to our nearest facility for processing. A tractor beam locked onto the Starwind. Zeth watched helplessly as his ship was pulled toward one of the human vessels. It was 3 times larger than his own ship and hummed with power that made his instrument's readings spike. Vex, he said quietly. Send a message. Drone back to Council Space. Tell them the humans are not extinct. Tell them we found something much worse. What do you mean, Captain? Zeth watched the human ships move around them with perfect coordination. Their technology was clearly decades ahead of anything the Council possessed. They had not just survived their isolation. They had used it to become something far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. We came here looking for the remains of a primitive civilization, he said. Instead, we found a superpower that has been hiding in the shadows for 50 years. And now they know that we know. The Starwind was pulled into the docking bay of the human ship. As the outer doors closed behind them, Zeth realized that first contact with humanity was about to begin. But unlike every other species in the galaxy, the humans would be negotiating from a position of overwhelming strength. The age of human isolation was about to end. The question was whether the galaxy was ready for what came next. The docking bay was unlike anything Captain Zeth Cromack had ever seen. The walls were made of a smooth metal that seemed to glow with its own light. Robotic arms moved with perfect precision, securing his ship to the deck. Everything was clean, efficient, and far more advanced than any technology in Council space. Stay calm, Zeth told his crew as armed figures approached their ship. We are explorers, not invaders. Maybe we can convince them we mean no harm. The humans who boarded the Starwind wore form-fitting suits that seemed to be made of liquid metal. Their faces were hidden behind helmets with glowing visors. They moved with a confidence that made Zeth nervous. These were not primitive warriors. They were professional soldiers with equipment that looked decades ahead of anything he knew. Captain Cromack, one of the humans said, I am Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez. You and your crew will come with us. Admiral Morrison wants to speak with you, personally. Zeth noticed that the humans spoke perfect galactic standard without any accent. That was impossible unless they had been studying alien languages for years. How long had the humans been watching the galaxy without anyone knowing? The corridors of the human ship were wide and bright. Soft music played from hidden speakers. Crew members they passed looked healthy and strong. Some had modifications that Zeth could not identify. Glowing implants in their eyes, metal ports in their skulls, skin that seemed too perfect to be natural. "How many of our languages do you speak?" Vex asked Lieutenant Rodriguez. "All of them," the human replied casually. "We have been listening to your communications for decades, learning your cultures, your politics, your technology. You might say we have become experts on galactic civilization." That statement hit Zeth like a physical blow. The humans had not been hiding in fear. They had been watching, learning, preparing. The quarantine had not kept them in. It had kept everyone else out while they studied their future neighbors. They entered a large room, with a table in the center. Comfortable chairs were arranged around it. A human woman in a white coat was waiting for them. She smiled warmly as they entered. "Welcome aboard the Liberty's Edge," she said. "I am Dr. Kate Phillips. I specialize in alien biology and culture. This is the first time we have had visitors from the Council in 50 years. Zeth studied the woman carefully. She looked young, but her eyes showed intelligence and experience. Like all the humans he had seen, she appeared to be in perfect health. Her teeth were too white, her skin too smooth. Either humans had mastered genetic enhancement or they had found other ways to improve themselves. "Dr. Phillips," Zeth said carefully, "my government believes your species died out 50 years ago. What happened to cause the silence?" "We did not die," she replied. "We chose to be quiet. After first contact protocols were established, our leaders decided we needed time to prepare before joining galactic society. We used that time well." A door opened and Admiral Jake Morrison entered the room. He was tall and broad-shouldered, with gray hair and sharp eyes. His uniform was simple but elegant, with symbols that Zeth did not recognize. The man carried himself with the confidence of someone used to command. "Captain Cromack," the Admiral said, extending his hand in what Zeth knew was a human greeting. "Welcome to Sol Space. I apologize for the dramatic arrival, but your stealth technology required special measures to detect and disable." Zeth shook the offered hand, noting that the Admiral's grip was much stronger than it should be. "You disabled our ship without firing a weapon. How is that possible?" "We have developed new technologies during our isolation," Admiral Morrison replied. "Your stealth systems are impressive, but they rely on principles we mastered decades ago. Our countermeasures are quite effective." Commander Lisa Grant entered the room carrying data tablets. She handed one to each alien visitor. The screens showed detailed information about their ship, their cargo, even their personal histories. "We know who you are," Commander Grant said. "Captain Zeth Cromack, age 43, veteran of the Outer Rim Trading Company. Vex Thurlan, science officer, graduated top of his class from the Council Academy. Nira Goldstar, tactical specialist, served in the Border Defense Force." "How do you know all this?" Nira demanded. "We have access to Council databases," Admiral Morrison said simply. "Your information networks are not as secure as you believe. We have been monitoring galactic affairs for quite some time." Dr. Phillips activated a holographic display in the center of the table. It showed the entire galaxy with trade routes, military positions, and political boundaries marked in detail. The information was more complete than anything in Council archives. "We know about the Rigel trade war," she said, "the Centauri border dispute, the resource shortages in the outer sectors. We have watched your civilization struggle with the same problems for decades while making very little progress." Zeth felt his heart sinking. The humans were not just technologically advanced. They had intelligence networks that penetrated the highest levels of galactic government. They knew everything about Council space while remaining completely invisible. "Why? Reveal yourselves now?" he asked. "You could have remained hidden." "Because you forced our hand," Admiral Morrison replied. Your intrusion means we must decide how to proceed. We can no longer pretend to be extinct. The question is what happens. Next, Commander Tony Walsh entered the room. He was younger than the Admiral, but moved with the same confident precision. His eyes seemed to see everything at once, missing no detail. "Captain Cromack," he said, "we need to discuss what you have seen and what you plan to do with that information. This conversation will determine the future relationship between humanity and the Galactic Council." "We are just traders," Zeth protested. "We came here looking for salvage. We had no idea you were still alive." "But now you do know, Commander," Walsh replied, "and that knowledge changes everything. You have seen our mining operations, our cities, our ships. You know we possess technology far beyond Council standards. What will you tell your superiors when you return?" Dr. Phillips leaned forward. "Captain, let me explain something about human nature. When we commit to a goal, we pursue it with total dedication. 50 years ago, we decided to advance our civilization as rapidly as possible. We unified our entire species under a single government. We eliminated poverty, disease, and conflict. We focused all our resources on research and development. That is impossible," Vex said. "No species can advance that quickly. Scientific progress has natural limits." "Only if you accept those limits," Admiral Morrison replied. "We chose not to. We redesigned our society from the ground up. Every human contributes to our advancement. We have eliminated the inefficiencies that plague other civilizations." Commander Grant activated another display. This one showed human population centers throughout the Sol system, cities on Mars, Europa, and Titan, massive space habitats in the asteroid belt, industrial complexes that stretched across entire moons. "We currently have a population of 12 billion humans," she said. "All of them are educated, healthy, and productive. Our industrial capacity exceeds the combined output of the 20 largest Council worlds." Seth stared at the numbers in disbelief. The humans had not just survived their isolation, they had used it to build a civilization that could challenge the entire galaxy. "What do you want from us?" he asked. "That depends on what you want from us," Admiral Morrison replied. "You came here seeking salvage from a dead civilization. Instead, you found a living superpower. How you choose to report this discovery will shape first contact between our species." Lieutenant Rodriguez spoke up. "Captain, you should understand that we have options. We can return you to Council space with a message of peace and cooperation. We can escort you out with a warning never to return, or we can keep you here while we decide what to do about the wider galaxy." "You would hold us prisoner?" Nira asked, her hand moving toward her weapon. "We would prefer not to," Dr. Phillips said gently. "But we cannot allow information about our capabilities to reach the Council without careful consideration of the consequences. Too much is at stake." Admiral Morrison stood up. "Captain Cromack, I am going to show you something that no non-human has ever seen. After that, you will understand why this moment is so important. You are not just witnessing first contact between our species. You are witnessing the moment when galactic civilization changes forever." The Admiral pressed a control on his wrist. The walls of the room became transparent, showing the space around them. Seth gasped at what he saw. The human fleet was enormous. Hundreds of ships in perfect formation, each one larger and more advanced than anything in Council space. "This is just one battle group," Admiral Morrison said quietly. "We have 50, more just like it. Captain, your species are about to learn that humanity is not just another member race. We are the future of this galaxy, whether the Council is ready for us or not." Admiral Morrison looked at the three aliens sitting around the table. Their faces showed fear and confusion. He had seen that look before when dealing with species that suddenly realized they were outmatched. "I think it is time for a demonstration," he said. "You have heard our claims about human advancement. Now you will see the proof." He activated his communication device. "Colonel Murphy, please prepare your squadron for a tactical display. Use Scenario 7. "Understood, Admiral," came the reply. "Blue Squadron is ready to launch." The walls of the meeting room remained transparent, giving the aliens a perfect view of space around the Liberty's edge. Within moments, 12 sleek fighters emerged from the ship's launch bays. They moved with incredible grace, their hulls gleaming under the light of the distant sun. "Those are our newest interceptors," Admiral Morrison explained. "Each one is piloted by enhanced humans with reaction times faster than any known species." Captain Zeth watched the fighters arrange themselves in a complex formation. They moved as if connected by invisible strings, each ship responding instantly to the movements of the others. It was like watching a dance performed at impossible speeds. "Computer-controlled?" Vex asked. "Human-controlled," Dr. Phillips replied. "Our pilots undergo genetic and cybernetic enhancement that improves their reflexes, coordination, and spatial awareness. What you are seeing is the result of humans pushing beyond natural biological limits." Colonel Ryan Murphy's voice came over the speakers. "Beginning tactical demonstration. All units, execute Pattern Alpha." The fighters exploded into motion. They twisted and turned through space in ways that should have killed their pilots. G-forces that would crush normal beings seemed to have no effect on the enhanced humans inside. They flew through formations so tight that their wingtips almost touched. "Impossible," Nero whispered. "No living being can survive those maneuvers." "Normal living beings cannot," Commander Grant agreed. "But we stopped being normal 50 years ago. Every human in our military has been improved beyond baseline capabilities. Stronger bones, faster reflexes, enhanced organs that can handle extreme conditions." The fighters began a mock combat exercise. They fired training beams at holographic targets that appeared around the Liberty's edge. Every shot hit perfectly. Their accuracy was absolute, their timing perfect. They moved through the combat drill like machines, but with creativity that no computer could match. "Target acquisition time is 0.03 seconds, Admiral Morrison noted. Response time, from detection to firing, is 0.01 seconds. Our pilots can engage 12 different targets simultaneously without missing." Zeth felt sick watching the display. Each of those fighters could probably destroy his ship single-handedly. A squadron of them could take on a council battle group and win easily. "That is just the beginning," Admiral Morrison said. "Lieutenant Rodriguez, please escort our guests to engineering. Chief Clark has prepared something special." They walked through corridors filled with humans going about their duties. Everyone they passed looked healthy and strong. Many had visible modifications. Glowing eyes that saw beyond normal spectrums. Arms that moved with mechanical precision. Skin that seemed too tough to be natural. Chief Engineer Ben Clark was waiting for them in the main engineering section. He was a large man with metal implants visible along his skull and arms. His hands had been replaced with mechanical versions that moved with perfect dexterity. "Welcome to the heart of the Liberty's Edge," he said with a smile. "This is where we keep our fusion reactors, gravity generators, and computational systems." The engineering bay was enormous. Massive machines hummed with power that made the air itself vibrate. Displays showed energy outputs that were beyond anything Zeth had ever imagined. The reactor alone could power an entire council city. "Our fusion technology is about 60 years ahead of current galactic standards," Chief Clark explained. "We crack matter at the atomic level with 98% efficiency. Most species achieve 30% at best." He led them to a wall covered with displays showing ship systems. Every reading was in the green zone, indicating perfect operation. The ship was running at peak efficiency across all departments. "Our gravity generators create artificial gravity without the massive power requirements other species need," he continued. "We discovered how to manipulate space-time directly, rather than using crude mass rotation systems." Vex studied the displays with growing amazement. "These power levels are incredible. How do you contain so much energy safely?" "Materials science," Chief Clark replied. "We develop new alloys that are stronger and lighter than anything in known space. Our hull plating could withstand a direct hit from a Council dreadnought's main cannon." They moved to another section where humans were working on advanced computers. The machines were small but clearly powerful. Holographic displays showed calculations happening faster than the eye could follow. "Our quantum processors operate at computational speeds that approach theoretical limits," Chief Clark said. "Each one can perform more calculations per second than the combined computer networks of most council worlds." Commander Grant joined them at the computer displays. We use these systems to coordinate our entire civilization. Every ship, every factory, every research facility is connected through our quantum communication network. We can share information instantly across light years of space. That is impossible, Vex protested. Faster-than-light communication violates basic physics. Only if you accept current understanding of physics, she replied. We found ways around those limitations. Our scientists have made breakthroughs that your researchers said were impossible. They were taken to another area where Captain Amy Foster was waiting. She wore a simple uniform but carried herself with the confidence of someone who had seen combat. Her eyes glowed faintly with artificial enhancement. I represent our enhanced infantry program, she said. Every human soldier has been modified to exceed the physical capabilities of any known species. She demonstrated by lifting a piece of equipment that should have required 3 people to move. Her enhanced muscles made the task look effortless. Then she moved through a series of combat maneuvers that were blindingly fast and perfectly executed. Reaction times improved by factor of 5, she explained. Strength increased by factor of 3. Endurance unlimited by normal fatigue factors. Enhanced healing that repairs injuries in hours rather than weeks. Captain Foster drew a training weapon and engaged holographic targets that appeared around the room. She moved like lightning, hitting every target with perfect accuracy while avoiding simulated enemy fire. Her performance was beyond superhuman. This is what every human soldier can do, Admiral Morrison said. We have 12 billion citizens, and every one of them could perform at levels that exceed your best warriors. They returned to the meeting room where Dr. Charles Webb was waiting. He was an older man with kind eyes, but his presence commanded immediate respect. Data tablets and holographic displays surrounded him, showing complex scientific equations. I head our theoretical physics research division, he said. During our isolation, we made several breakthrough discoveries that changed our understanding of reality itself. He activated a display showing a star map with strange markings. We have working prototypes of faster-than-light communication systems that operate in real time across any distance. Matter conversion technology that can transform any element into any other element. Artificial intelligence systems that approach true consciousness. You are describing technologies that council scientists say are impossible, Zeth said weakly. Council scientists are limited by conventional thinking, Dr. Webb replied. We threw out conventional thinking 50 years ago. When you stop accepting that something cannot be done, you often find ways to do it. Admiral Morrison stood up. Captain Cromack, what you have seen today represents just a small sample of human capabilities. Our ships are faster and stronger than anything in your fleets. Our soldiers are enhanced beyond the limits of natural biology. Our technology operates on principles that your scientists have not yet discovered. He looked directly at each alien. In turn, we did not reveal this to frighten you. We revealed it so you would understand the situation clearly. Humanity is not seeking to join galactic civilization as another member species. We have evolved beyond that level. We are offering guidance and partnership to species that are ready to advance, Commander Grant added. But we will not be limited by the slow pace of traditional galactic politics. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Zeth realized that everything he had believed about the balance of power in the galaxy was wrong. The humans were not just another species. They were something entirely new. What happens now? He asked quietly. Admiral Morrison smiled. Now you have a choice to make, Captain. You can return to the Council with news of what you have found. How you present that news will determine whether first contact becomes an opportunity or a crisis. But, understand this, he continued. We will not remain hidden much longer. Our expansion needs require more space and resources. With or without Council approval, humanity is coming out of isolation. The question is whether the galaxy will be ready for us. Admiral Morrison watched the 3 aliens sit in stunned silence. The demonstrations had shown them human technology, but they did not yet understand the true scope of what humanity had become. It was time to reveal the bigger picture. Dr. Mitchell, please join us, he said into his communication device. Dr. Sarah Mitchell entered the room carrying a data pad and looking confident. She was a woman in her 40s with short, dark hair and intelligent eyes. Her specialty was studying how societies developed and changed over time. "Captain Cromack," she said, taking a seat across from the aliens. "I have spent the last 50 years studying galactic civilization. I want to explain why humanity chose isolation and what we learned during that time." She activated a holographic display showing the development of various species across the galaxy. Charts and graphs showed population growth, technological advancement, and resource usage over thousands of years. "Every species in the galaxy follows the same pattern," Dr. Mitchell explained. "Rapid early growth, then a plateau where advancement slows dramatically. Most civilizations reach a certain level and then stop progressing." Seth studied the display. The pattern was clear across dozens of species. They would advance quickly at first, then their progress would level off and remain flat for centuries. "Why does this happen?" Bex asked. "Politics, fear, and resource competition," Dr. Mitchell replied. "Once a species joins galactic civilization, they become focused on maintaining their position rather than advancing. They waste energy on territorial disputes, trade wars, and bureaucratic inefficiency." She changed the display to show human development over the past 50 years. The line showed steady, dramatic growth with no plateau in sight. "Humanity chose a different path," she continued. "We unified our entire species under a single government. We eliminated internal conflict, poverty, and resource scarcity. Every human works toward the same goals." "That is impossible," Nira protested. "No species can achieve total unity. There are always different groups with different interests. Only, if you allow those differences to divide you," Dr. Mitchell replied. "We chose not to. We restructured human society from the ground up. Everyone has a role that contributes to our advancement. Everyone benefits from our success." General Paul Henderson entered the room. He was a large man with graying hair and the bearing of a career soldier. His uniform showed ranks and medals that Zeth did not recognize. "I oversee our manufacturing and construction operations," General Henderson said. "I want to show you what unified effort can accomplish." He activated another display showing the Sol system from above. The scale was breathtaking. Every planet, moon, and asteroid was covered with human activity. Industrial complexes, cities, shipyards, and research facilities stretched across the entire system. "We currently operate 47 major shipyards," he explained. "Each one can construct vessels larger than anything in your fleets. We complete a new ship every 6 hours, around the clock, every day of the year." The numbers made Zeth dizzy. The humans were building ships faster than most species could design them. Their industrial capacity was beyond anything he had imagined. "Our asteroid mining operations process more raw materials each month than the Council trades in a year," General Henderson continued. "We have automated systems that can strip an asteroid to its core and convert the materials into useful products within days." He showed them images of the mining operations around Jupiter. Massive machines moved through space like mechanical whales, swallowing asteroids whole and processing them into refined metals and other materials. "We do not compete for resources," he said. "We create them. Our matter conversion technology allows us to transform any element into any other element we need. Scarcity is no longer a limiting factor for our civilization." Commander Dan Baker joined the meeting. He was younger than the others, but carried himself with the confidence of someone used to making important decisions. His role was planning humanity's future strategies. "Captain Cromack, let me explain our current situation," he said. "For 50 years we have been preparing for eventual contact with galactic civilization. We have developed plans for every possible scenario." He activated a display showing detailed intelligence reports on every major species and government in the galaxy. The information was more complete than anything in Council databases. "We know the military capabilities of every fleet," he said, "the economic strength of every trading empire, the political weaknesses of every government. We have been watching and learning while you thought we were extinct." "You have spies throughout Council space?" Zeth asked. "We have observers, Commander," Baker corrected. Humans with advanced stealth technology who monitor your activities. They report back on political developments, technological advances, and military movements. The implications were staggering. The humans had intelligence networks that penetrated every level of galactic society. They knew more about the Council than the Council knew about itself. Our analysis shows that galactic civilization is stagnating, he continued. Population growth has slowed. Technological advancement has nearly stopped. Most species are focused on maintaining the status quo rather than pushing forward. Dr. Mitchell nodded agreement. The current galactic system encourages competition rather than cooperation. Species waste enormous resources on conflicts that benefit no one. Progress is limited by the slowest members rather than driven by the fastest. We offer a better way, General Henderson added. Unified purpose, shared resources, coordinated advancement. We could transform galactic civilization within a generation. Captain Jack Stevens entered the room. He was tall and lean with the look of someone who spent time in deep space. His uniform showed the insignia of Exploration Command. I lead our deep space exploration program, he said. While you have been limiting yourselves to known systems, we have been expanding beyond the galaxy's current borders. He activated a star map showing regions of space that Zeth had never seen before. Human colonies and research stations dotted systems far beyond Council territory. We currently have settlements in 43 systems outside galactic borders, Captain Stevens explained. Our fastest ships can cross the galaxy in weeks rather than months. We are not limited by traditional trade routes or political boundaries. You are colonizing unclaimed space? Vex asked. We are expanding into empty space, Captain Stevens replied. We do not take territory from other species. We find uninhabited systems and make them productive. Our expansion rate exceeds the growth of all Council species combined. Admiral Morrison stood up and walked to the transparent wall. Outside, the human fleet moved in perfect formation, hundreds of ships working together with precision that no Council fleet could match. Captain Cromack, you came here looking for the remains of a dead civilization, he said. Instead, you found something unprecedented, a species that used isolation to evolve beyond the limitations that hold back galactic society. He turned to face the aliens directly. We are not seeking to conquer or dominate other species. We are offering them the chance to advance beyond their current limitations. But we will not be held back by species that choose stagnation over progress. Dr. Mitchell leaned forward. The old way of doing things has reached its limits. Competitive politics, resource scarcity, and territorial disputes prevent real advancement. Humanity offers a new model based on cooperation and shared goals. What if the Council refuses to change? Nira asked. Then they will be left behind, Admiral Morrison replied simply. We will continue expanding and advancing with or without Council participation. In 50 years, we will be so far ahead that the choice will no longer matter. Commander Baker activated a final display showing projected human expansion over the next century. The growth curve was exponential, reaching far beyond current galactic boundaries. We estimate that within 100 years, human civilization will span multiple galaxies, he said. Our population will number in the trillions. Our technology will be beyond anything currently imaginable. The species that choose to advance with us will share in that future, General Henderson added. Those that choose to remain as they are will become irrelevant. Zeth felt overwhelmed by the scope of what he was hearing. The humans were not just more advanced than other species. They were operating on a completely different scale of existence. Why are you telling us all this? He asked. Because the time for secrecy is ending, Admiral Morrison replied. Our expansion needs require more space and resources. We can no longer hide our activities from galactic observers. First contact is inevitable. You have seen our capabilities, Dr. Mitchell said. You understand our philosophy. When you return to Council space, you will carry with you the most important intelligence in galactic history. How you present this information will determine whether first contact becomes an opportunity for mutual advancement or a crisis that transforms the galaxy through force, Admiral Morrison concluded. The room fell silent as the weight of responsibility settled on the three alien visitors. They were no longer just explorers who had stumbled into restricted space. They had become the bridge between humanity and the rest of the galaxy. The choice of how to use that bridge would shape the future of every species in known space. Admiral Morrison stood quietly for several minutes, letting the weight of everything the aliens had learned settle in their minds. Captain Zeth Cromack stared out at the human fleet, trying to process the implications of what he had witnessed. His entire understanding of galactic power had been turned upside down in a matter of hours. "Captain," Admiral Morrison said finally, "the time has come to discuss your return to Council space. But before you leave, you need to understand the choice that humanity is offering to the galaxy." Director Helen Ross entered the room. She was an elegant woman with silver hair and calm, confident eyes. Her role was planning how humanity would interact with other species when isolation ended. "Captain Cromack," she said, taking a seat at the table, "I have spent the last 20 years developing protocols for first contact with galactic civilization. We always knew this day would come. The question was never if, but when and how." She activated a holographic display showing two different scenarios. One showed peaceful integration between humanity and Council species. The other showed humanity expanding alone while other civilizations fell behind. "We are offering the galaxy two paths forward," Director Ross explained. "The choice is not ours to make. It belongs to the species that will be affected by our emergence from isolation." "What are these paths?" Vex asked nervously. "Path 1 is cooperation and shared advancement," she replied. "Humanity emerges gradually from isolation. We share our technology, our knowledge, and our resources with species that are willing to adapt and grow. Together we transform galactic civilization into something greater than the sum of its parts." The display showed images of joint human-alien research projects, mixed crews on advanced ships, and thriving colonies where different species work together using human technology. "This path requires significant changes," Director Ross continued. "Current political structures would need to be reformed. Resource competition would end because we can create abundance for everyone. Species would need to abandon territorial disputes in favor of cooperative expansion." "And the second path?" Zeth asked, though he was afraid to hear the answer. "Humanity continues expanding on our own," Director Ross said simply. "We take the space and resources we need for growth. We maintain peaceful relations with species that do not interfere with our activities. But we do not share our advanced technology with civilizations that choose to remain stagnant." The second set of images showed human colonies spreading far beyond current galactic boundaries, while Council species remained confined to their traditional territories. The contrast was stark and sobering. Captain Jack Stevens stepped forward. "Captain Cromack, our deep space exploration has identified over 200 uninhabited systems suitable for colonization. We do not need to take territory from existing species. There is plenty of room for expansion without conflict. But resources are limited," Nira protested. "Only if you think in traditional terms," General Henderson replied. "Our matter conversion technology means any asteroid can become any material we need. Our fusion reactors provide unlimited energy. Scarcity is a choice, not a natural law." Admiral Morrison activated his personal communication device. "Bring us to Observation Deck 7, he ordered. The room began to move. Zeth realized they were in some kind of transport system that carried the entire meeting space through the ship. Within minutes, they emerged onto a massive observation deck with transparent walls showing space in all directions. "Look around you, Captain," Admiral Morrison said. "What do you see?" Zeth looked out at the human fleet, hundreds of ships in perfect formation. Each one was larger and more advanced than anything in Council space. But beyond the immediate fleet, he could see something even more impressive. Construction platforms stretched across the local space. New ships were being built in real time. Robotic systems moved with incredible precision, assembling hulls and installing systems faster than seemed possible. What would take Council shipyards years to complete was happening in days. "This is just one construction site," General Henderson explained. "We have similar operations throughout the Sol system. Our current production rate allows us to replace our entire fleet every 2 years if necessary. Dr. Mitchell joined them at the observation windows. Captain, do you understand what this means for galactic balance of power? We are not just another species with advanced technology. We are a civilization that operates on principles your economists say are impossible. Unlimited growth without resource depletion, she continued. Technological advancement without political interference. Population expansion without territorial conflict. We have solved problems that have limited galactic civilization for thousands of years. Commander Baker activated a display showing current galactic politics. Border disputes, trade wars, and resource conflicts were marked throughout Council space. While you fight over limited resources, we create abundance, he said. While you compete for territory, we expand into empty space. While you argue about sharing technology, we advance together as a unified species. But at what cost? Vex asked. You say you eliminated all conflict and competition. What happened to individual freedom? Cultural diversity? Dr. Mitchell smiled. We enhanced them. When basic needs are guaranteed and everyone has opportunities to contribute meaningfully, people are free to pursue their individual interests. We have more cultural diversity now than ever before because no one needs to conform to survive. Admiral Morrison turned to face the aliens directly. Captain Cromack, the choice I am offering is not just for you. It is for every species in the galaxy. We can emerge from isolation as partners and guides, helping other civilizations advance beyond their current limitations. Or we can emerge as we are, taking what we need for continued growth while leaving other species to make their own choices about advancement, Director Ross added. What would cooperation look like in practical terms? Zeth asked. Council species. The Choose partnership would gain access to our technology gradually, Director Ross explained. Enhanced medicine that extends lifespans and eliminates disease. Manufacturing techniques that create abundance without environmental damage. Transportation systems that make interstellar travel as easy as planetary travel. Your scientists would work alongside ours in research programs that advance everyone, Dr. Mitchell added. Your people could undergo enhancement procedures that improve their capabilities without losing their essential nature. And in return, Zeth asked. Political structures that support advancement rather than hinder it, Admiral Morrison replied. An end to resource conflicts and territorial disputes. Unified effort toward expanding beyond current galactic boundaries. Captain Stevens pointed to displays showing human colonies in distant systems. There are entire galaxies waiting to be explored and settled. Why fight over scraps when unlimited expansion is possible? What if some species refuse? Nira asked. Then they remain as they are, Admiral Morrison said. We do not force change on anyone, but we also do not allow ourselves to be limited by species that choose stagnation over progress. Director Ross activated a final display showing projected galactic development over the next century under both scenarios. The difference was dramatic. In 50 years, species that choose cooperation will have populations in the trillions, technology that seems like magic by current standards, and colonies spanning multiple galaxies, she said. Species that choose isolation will remain much as they are today. The choice is not between human dominance and alien independence, Admiral Morrison emphasized. It is between advancement and stagnation, between abundance and scarcity, between galactic civilization that grows together or grows apart. Zeth felt the enormous weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. He was just a trader who had come looking for salvage. Now he carried information that would reshape the galaxy. How long do we have to decide? He asked. Our expansion needs will not wait indefinitely, Commander Baker replied. We estimate 5 years before our activities become impossible to hide. Whether the galaxy is ready or not, humanity will emerge from isolation. Admiral Morrison walked to the center of the observation deck. Captain Cromack, you and your crew will be returned to your ship and escorted to the edge of Sol space. You will carry with you complete documentation of everything you have witnessed. How you present this information to the Galactic Council will determine whether first contact becomes humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy or its greatest challenge, Director Ross added. We hope for cooperation, Dr. Mitchell said. But we are prepared for any outcome. The choice belongs to the species of the galaxy, not to us. Zeth looked one last time at the human fleet, the construction platforms, and the impossible scale of human achievement. In 50 years, they had transformed from a primitive species into something that could reshape galactic civilization. Admiral Morrison, he said quietly, what message should I give to the Council? The Admiral smiled. Tell them that humanity is ready to emerge from isolation. Tell them we offer partnership in building a future beyond anything they have imagined. Tell them we have been waiting for the galaxy to be ready for us. And tell them, he added, his voice carrying the weight of absolute certainty, that whether they are ready or not, we will not wait much longer.